Do you fear driving alone at night? Amanda glanced at her watch, 11:45 p.m. The desolate highway stretched ahead, trees on either side like silent sentinels. Her headlights illuminated the asphalt ribbon, disappearing into the darkness. Driving home, late, dark roads, silence except for crickets. Suddenly a pair of headlights appeared in the rearview mirror, approaching fast. Amanda's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't seen another car for miles. She eased her foot on the accelerator, letting the car behind her pass. But it didn't. It stayed stubbornly in place, almost as if it were glued to her bumper. Instead, it stayed close, its headlights glaring menacingly in her rearview mirror, casting long, eerie shadows inside her car. Amanda's stomach churned with a growing sense of unease. She could feel the tension building in her shoulders. Amanda's pulse quickened, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. She could hear it in her ears, a constant reminder of her growing fear. She gripped the steering wheel tighter, her knuckles turning white. The leather felt cold and unyielding under her fingers. Just a polite driver, she thought, trying to rationalize. Maybe they're just lost or confused. Closer now. The car seemed to inch even nearer, closing the already narrow gap between them. The car behind her flashed its high beams, flooding her car with blinding light. She squinted, trying to see through the glare. The car behind flashed its high beams again impatiently. Amanda's mind raced. Maybe they need help, but why not stop and ask? Why follow so closely and aggressively? Something felt wrong, very wrong. Her instincts screamed at her to get away, to find a safe place. But where could she go in the middle of the night on this deserted road? The car behind her was now tailgating her. Amanda's heart pounded in her chest. She dared not look at the rearview mirror again, focusing on the road ahead. Each passing milepost seemed to tick by in slow motion. She considered pulling over, confronting the driver. She was too frightened. The relentless pursuit fueled her fear, urging her to keep driving. Amanda's mind conjured worst-case scenarios. Her foot pressed harder on the accelerator. She just wanted to get home. Safe. Away from the menacing presence behind her. Finally, the familiar turn onto her street. The streetlights cast long shadows, creating an eerie yet comforting ambience. Relief washed over Amanda as she veered off the highway and onto the dimly lit road. The tension in her shoulders began to ease, but a lingering unease remained. She glanced at her rearview mirror, her eyes darting back and forth. The car was still there, its headlights unwavering, casting a blinding light that made it hard to see anything else. Pulling into her driveway, Amanda fumbled with her keys, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Her hands were shaking so much that she almost dropped them. She rushed out of the car, her hand trembling as she reached for her phone to call for help. Her mind raced with thoughts of what to say, who to call. But before she could react, a voice startled her. It was a low, menacing whisper that sent chills down her spine. "Don't!" A man's voice whispered from behind her. The words were sharp, filled with an urgency that made her freeze. Amanda whirled around, her heart leaping into her throat. Her eyes widened in terror as she tried to make out the figure in the darkness, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. There, crouched behind her car, was a man, dressed in dark clothing. His face was etched with worry, not malice. He gestured towards her back seat, his voice hushed. "Please," he whispered, "just get in the house, lock the doors, call the police. Tell them there's someone in your back seat." Confused, terrified, Amanda obeyed. She rushed inside, her mind reeling. She locked the door, her hands shaking as she dialed 911. As she spoke to the operator, her gaze darted to the window. The man was gone. The chilling realization of the man's warning, the unseen danger lurking in her back seat. Amanda's heart raced as she replayed his words in her mind, trying to make sense of the cryptic message. He was trying to save her, but from what? The question gnawed at her, creating a whirlwind of fear and confusion. The message was clear, yet its meaning was shrouded in mystery. The police arrived quickly, sirens wailing, their lights cutting through the darkness like a beacon of hope. They found no one in her car, no sign of the mysterious man. It was as if he had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a sense of dread. Amanda tried to explain, but her story sounded unbelievable even to her own ears. The officers exchanged skeptical glances, their doubt evident. As the days turned into weeks, the incident haunted Amanda. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The shadows in her home seemed to move with a life of their own. The thought sent shivers down her spine. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind amplified her paranoia. It was a chilling tale with a darkly humorous twist. The irony of being saved by a potential threat was not lost on her. After all, who would believe a story about a helpful stalker? The line between protector and predator blurred, leaving Amanda in a perpetual state of unease. The days turned into weeks, but Amanda's sense of unease never faded. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The shadows in her home seemed to move with a life of their own. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind amplified her paranoia. One night as she lay in bed, she heard a noise, a faint whisper, almost imperceptible. She sat up, heart pounding, straining to catch the sound again. The whisper grew louder, more distinct. It was a voice, soft and sinister, calling her name. Amanda's breath caught in her throat. She reached for her phone, hands trembling, and dialed the police. As she explained the situation, the whispering stopped abruptly. Silence fell, heavy and oppressive. The police arrived quickly, their presence a small comfort. They searched the house thoroughly, but found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of an intruder. Amanda's fear seemed to them like the product of an overactive imagination. But Amanda knew better. She felt the eyes on her, the invisible presence that never left. She was not alone. The unseen watcher was always there, lurking in the shadows, waiting. The next morning, Amanda found a note on her kitchen table. It read, "You're safe for now, but he's still out there. Be vigilant." The handwriting was unfamiliar, but the message was clear. The mysterious man from the roadside was still watching over her, protecting her from an unseen threat. Amanda's world had become a twisted game of cat and mouse, where safety was an illusion and danger lurked just out of sight. The line between protector and predator had never been more blurred. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more chilling tales.